Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Today's video I would like to talk about my top 6 albums, violin edition of course. I thought it's a good idea to share with you my top 6 favorite violin albums. I grew up listening these violinists. I guess I listened these recordings more than 100 times. All 6 of them I listened more than 100 times. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe my channel for more amazing videos like these. And please subscribe and like this video. Alright, let's start. So number 1 on my list is Roman Kim, Kim Possible. The name of this album is Kim Possible. I guess it's connected to his name, Roman Kim. So he made it like Impossible and Kim Possible together. This name perfectly fits to his playing anyways, because he's one of the craziest violinists ever. You should definitely check his music videos. I think I discovered this album when I was in high school, maybe end of high school, I'm not sure exactly. And I must say I was so impressed with the sound quality, overall quality of this album. Not only his violin playing, but the sound quality, the recording quality is also amazing. And the reason why I love this album so much, he's not only playing composed pieces, but also he plays his own arrangements plus his own compositions. He composed his own music, which is super important and not boring at all. These days we hear so many violinists, so many musicians repeating the same pieces over and over again. There is no invention. And like Nathan Milstein said, if violinists don't know what invention means, then he should stop violin playing. We should invent new things, not repeat the same thing over and over again. So Roman Kim is of course number 1 for me. He's trying new things, he's inventing new techniques. If you see his crazy videos, he's doing impossible things. For example, there's a Paganini piece, it's already very difficult. But what he does, he just plays it and he makes it even more difficult. It's just incredible. I'm not talking about live performances though, I'm just talking about his recordings. Because I believe live performance is completely different thing. But his recordings are simply the best. And number 2 on my list is Yenin Jensen's Prokofiev album. Well, when I was young, I bought this CD and I didn't know before who she was. I just saw in the store this CD and I thought, why not? It looks beautiful. No. I mean, oh, never mind. After listening her interpretation of Prokofiev pieces, I fell in love with the ideas, with the colors, how she managed to reach those different colors. Sometimes very dark, sometimes very light, soft. If you listen 20th century violinists, how they play Prokofiev, Yenin Jensen brought completely different perspective and understanding his music. I didn't find that interesting Prokofiev number 2 violin concerto, for example, until I listened to her playing. She managed to make me like that concerto. And now actually Prokofiev is one of my favorite composers. I played his violin concerto number 2 and actually that's the only piece I played from him. But because I don't want to spoil these musics too early, you know what I mean? There are some pieces I want to learn later in my life. There are some musicians who play Prokofiev Sonata number 1 when they are 14 or 13 years old. For me it doesn't make so much sense because these musics are actually really difficult to understand, at least for a 12 or 13 years old. And number 3 on my list is Maxim Vengerov Phenomenal album. The name of the album is Phenomenal. I think it's a mixed album from his recordings. I also bought this album when I was high school one. I must say this album is very entertaining, like Roman Kim. If I remember right, it has 3 CDs and the first CD is some concerto. I think second CD is also some concerto recordings. And the third CD was my favorite. He played all these small virtuosic pieces. I mean, all his favorite encores, I must say. Like Brahms' Hungarian dances, Rachmaninoff vocalies, Estrellita, Chardash, of course. All these small but very virtuosic pieces. And he's not only playing with a normal piano accompaniment, but there is also a small string orchestra. So it's like piano and a string orchestra arrangement. Of course, you know Vengerov, he's the maestro. So if you want to enjoy lots of different periods of music, then I definitely suggest you to check this one, Phenomenal Vengerov. Number 4 on my list is Gülşaham's Bach Sonatas and Partitas. I remember so well when it was released. I was in high school and I listened it with my friends, and that time I couldn't really understand this kind of interpretation because only interpretation I heard in my life was 20th century romantic style of playing or periodic playing. But somehow when I listened his playing, I couldn't really understand what's going on. And to be honest, when we hear something first time or when we hear a new idea, we tend to not like it and criticize. So I was young and I didn't really care. But some years later, these Bach recordings, actually they became my favorite. I start to understand his interpretation more, and somehow I really like the tempo actually. You should definitely listen these Bach recordings because tempo he played is super fast. I cannot believe how he managed to play in that tempo, especially the fugues. It's very difficult chords, very fast passages. It sounds brilliant. I like this compact feeling. It doesn't feel like huge pieces. Like, for example, when you think Bach sonatas or like Bach chaconne, you imagine a very huge piece, 10 pages, 12 pages of solo violin music. One movement only, 15 minutes. It's super long and very difficult, of course. But when I listen to his recordings, it sounds super compact. That's what I love about these recordings. So Gil Shaham's Bach partitas and sonatas. Definitely check it out. And number 5 on my list is Isaac Stern, Tchaikovsky and Mendelssohn Violin Concertos. This one has really special place for me because when I was 7th grade, I was listening this recording a lot and I always imagined myself playing Mendelssohn and Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto as a soloist. This was the recording that inspired me to become a soloist and play as a soloist. And the great thing, many years later, I played these both concerti with orchestra as a soloist. They were both wonderful performances and I really enjoyed playing in front of audience. Actually, I didn't even feel nervous when I played because I already imagined all these years playing in front of an audience with an orchestra. So it's actually very good practice method. You can always imagine yourself playing in front of thousands of people with an orchestra while you are practicing. That helps a lot. And number 6 on my list is Jascha Heifetz, Scottish Fantasy and Violin number 5. You know, there are some violinists and they have their signature pieces. First of all, Scottish Fantasy is probably my favorite violin piece and it's because of his recording. He plays so good. And actually, I think this recording is one of my favorite recordings ever. Of course, Violin number 5 is also great, but Scottish Fantasy interpretation, it's just another level. I never played this piece before because, like I said before, I don't want to spoil these pieces too early. The Heifetz interpretation, I think these pieces perfectly fits to his way of playing. All the musical lines, everything. So yeah, this is my list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I talk about my top 6 favorite albums. We had the Roman Kim, Maxim Vengerov, Yenin Jensen, Gil Shaham, Isaac Stern, and Jascha Heifetz. What is your favorite violin album actually? I'm very curious. Let me know in comments your favorite album. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.